Meep meep. Meep meep. Welcome back, boys, and today we're gonna do a first impressions video on Zahhak. Zahhak? I don't know how you say it, but looks pretty spiffy. His right eye looks kind of funny. Oh no, it's just a sparkle was covering it. What a stud this guy is. Definitely a husbando. And today we're going to do a first impressions video. I have not seen this yet. I have no idea what his kit is. So we're going to find out together and have a true first impressions video. So as always, we're going to skip this stuff. We don't care about his backstory. You guys can read that on your own. Alright, so he is a Earth Warrior. Very high crit chance built in. Actually a very fast warrior. 119 speed. Self-attack imprint and a team defense imprint for the front and back slot. I'm assuming most people will use the self-imprint if they get imprints. So it looks like, based on his speed, some kind of initiating hero, because he's very, very fast. Alright, let's go into his skills. Skill 3, Execute. Attack the enemy, inflicting, so another injury hero before granting the caster invincibility for 1 turn. So that's like Strays. Increases hit chance and critical hit chance by 50% when attacking. Violet counter, boys. That's if you have like a symbol, it's also like a violet counter. The severity of injuries increases proportional to damage dealt. That's pretty typical. Injuries decrease max health of the target by up to 35%. What's the max on regular injury set? 35% seems crazy. Alright, so this is looking like a... Let's see. I bet the example will be him using this on Violet. Everyone's been complaining about Violet. Let's take a look. Here we go. There's a Violet. Alright, let's try to analyze this. So it doesn't seem to hit very hard. Wait, so he has attack buff. It only hit for 7,200. There's no Aurius on this Crow. And it doesn't ignore damage share, so it just straight up doesn't have Aurius. So granted, this Violet has defense buff though, and defense buff reduces damage by a lot. But I still don't think you'd be able to one-shot a Violet through Aurius. But if you look at his HP, that looks like 35%, boy. It chunked the crap. Look at it. His max HP is only 8,400 now. So it's definitely... I mean, also we don't know how this Zahhak is built. But if you look at it, it doesn't look very tanky, right? 10.5k HP as a warrior. Basically, he has no health subs on this unit. So it looks like the multis don't look that fantastic, but with that crazy injury and the fact that, you know, he becomes invincible after, and I guess the idea of that is you don't even have to deal with the Violet counter if somehow you miss. I guess Violet has a 5% chance to dodge, right? Because what's he have, 55%, and this reduces it by 50, so he could still get dodged. So that's his only real survivability mechanic. Alright, let's look at skill 2. Elaborate Plan. Dispels 2 debuffs from an ally in the caster before granting a barrier for 2 turns. Increases combat readiness by 50%. Barrier strength increases proportional to the target's max health. Interesting. Let's see what this barrier looks like. It's kind of hard because they already have barriers from FCC. Looks pretty thick. I don't know what the SSP stats are. Okay. Alright, so it's kind of like a survivability move. I mean, as a DPS, I guess having a cleanse is good. Kind of a weird addition to his kit, but it does increase the CR by a lot, so it gives him a chance to rotate. Took his S1, attacks the enemy, blah blah blah. Nothing special here. Does more damage if the target is buffed. Soul Burn increases damage. And again, he has this increased crit chance by 50%. So all his moves have... basically, it's like a half fire Charlotte. Like, Charlotte will always crit. This is pretty big though, because all this really does is make it a lot easier to gear the unit. Basically, it means 50% crit in subs can be reallocated to damage or health. I'm assuming you'd put into health if you want to play him as Bruiser. So let's take a look. Okay. So I guess it hits decently hard. I mean, this maid has defense buff, but it also has a defense break. And it's hitting for 10k. So again, we don't know how this thing is geared. I'm assuming it's fully molded in the showcase. It just looks like this hero doesn't hit that hard, but we can never trust these showcases because we never know the stats. Okay, the rest of it, let's look at the artifact. Pure White Trust. After using a non-attack skill, increases speed of the caster for 2 turns and increases crit hit damage of the next attack by up to 30%. I guess it's pretty good. There's not too many warriors that have non-attack skills, though. I wonder if Mediator Cowric would actually like this artifact, right? I mean, maybe not. I feel like Mediator Cowric could maybe use it. I mean, it makes sense for this hero. It makes him turn cycle fast, increases his damage output. I'm trying to think what other artifacts you'd want to use on this guy. Like, I'm thinking just like maybe portraits give him damage or even proof because he seems really squishy. So, okay, let's talk about this hero. What are my first impressions here? So I think this is obviously meant to be an evasion hero counter based on this, right? Against a draft where they don't have any evasion heroes, I don't really see any reason to use this. Like, you know, it's taking up, but you have to always consider what you're losing when you take a hero, right? Like, if you're going for DPS, like, do you really want this over something like a Steny or something like that? Because if you look at his damage, I mean, granted, maybe it's just poorly geared, but it doesn't look like there's anything particularly crazy about his damage. I mean, granted, he had a defense buff, but he had attack buff, and he has no self-attack buff, so there's a decent chance that he won't have it up in a typical draft. I'm guessing he Amelia pushed this thing. So it doesn't look like any kind of hero that can one-shot something in the opener against a decently geared team. But Violet, it seems like it shuts him down pretty hard. But if you don't one-shot it, I mean, Violet can still heal up. Granted, he'll be injured and be pretty low, but if you don't one-shot... I mean, I guess what you could do is ban out the Aurius, but it's not always so easy if they drafted like something that's a must-ban. But I think he's a very solid Violet counter. Maybe even Cleavers can use him, because a lot of people use Violet as anti-cleave. And, you know, it seems like he does decent damage, but nothing too impressive. So I think it'll be good. It'll be good to have a consistent answer to Violet now that we have, like, Pillis and this. I think Smilegate's trying to acknowledge that the evasion meta is annoying and trying to discourage a little bit by having some viable counters added to the game. So I'm very happy about that. The S2, I think, is okay. You know, dispelling 2 debuffs is pretty big. The barrier actually seems fairly decent. So, you know, it gives him a little bit more survivability, because I think that's the main thing that scares me with this hero. He doesn't really seem to have much survivability outside of the invincibility he gets in the opener from the S1. But again, there's a lot of things that strip in this game. Now, like, what if you use this and you just get the Lion countered or Rem countered or something? And, yeah, it just... Sometimes those one-turn invincibilities are not that consistent. The S1, I think, is whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's an S1. No one really cares. So overall, do I think this hero is good? I think he's okay. I think he'll be fine. You can use him as a evasion counter. I think looking at his kit, he's not going to be something like a Rimuru, where like people will first pick Rimuru. I think it'd be a very dumb move to first pick something like this. Definitely looks like a very specialized kit. I think the best part about him, or the most unique parts about him, are definitely the built-in increased hit chance. Keep in mind, though, he doesn't have it on the S1, so if you don't kill that Violet, it's a 3-turn cooldown, so Violet still gets to dodge stuff for a while before you go after him again. And the other big thing about his kit is the same reason why Charlotte's good. You can build a very scary Charlotte because crit chance is a very hard stat to stack up, right? With this hero, you only need 50% crit, and if you remember, his base crit is actually quite high to begin with. So you only need to get 23% crit, which is very easy to get, and all the rest of the stats can go into more damage, can go into more bulk. So maybe the showcase is bad because maybe if you build him properly, he can easily one-shot Violets in the opener, in which case you'll have to fear him kind of like you have to fear a Milim if you draft a Landy, because a decently built Taga Hell's Milim will just straight up blast a Landy right in the opener. You might be able to do the same thing against Violets with this hero. Time will tell if the multis are good enough. I mean, I'm sure they're out, but I never look at that stuff. But looks like the main goal of this hero is to be a Violet counter, but I think as a general purpose hero, he's definitely going to be quite limited. I don't really see a reason why you would just bring this into any draft right off the bat. You know, those kind of heroes are like Apoc Ravis, you know, Violet, Rimuru, these heroes where you can just, I mean, no one first picks Violet, but these are heroes where you can justifiably first pick them. Zahhak is not something you would ever want to first pick because his kit doesn't bring enough if you can't take advantage of this huge bonus right here. So anyways, that's my first impressions of Zahhak. TLDR is he's a very good counter pick unit based on what I'm seeing, but not a great general purpose hero. So in my opinion, if you don't have a fleshed out kit and you're really starved on bookmarks, I'm hesitant to say this is must-pull territory, especially since it's not a limited or anything. But if you really hate Violet, if you're struggling against him in Guild Wars and stuff, this might be a good thing to add to your kit. So anyways, did I miss anything? Do you guys think I'm wrong? Do you guys think he's godly? Whatever. Put it in the comment section below. This is my first impressions based on my understanding of the game, which, you know, honestly is pretty good, and the RTA meta. But, you know, I've made mistakes before, so if you think I'm wrong, put it in the comment section below. And thanks for watching. Till next time, boys, peace out.